C was convicted of violating a state law that banned the teaching of evolution in the state's public schools. NCSE currently defends the teaching of evolution in public schools, so we got a lot of press. I talked to about 6 reporters, including a poor woman from the Tennessean who was on the phone with me for 78 minutes. Wow. I talked to a couple of kids who were doing a History Day project for the Scopes trial. In general, I've been doing a lot of Scopes stuff. I've recently returned from 10 days in Tennessee where I attended 3 different Scopes centennial events. I got to meet Susan and Scott. But of course, how much do you really know about the so-called trial of the century? I'll let you know what you're playing for. Has everyone done their pencil in the room? First, I've got a copy of Summer for the Gods, Edward J. Larson's Pulitzer-Prize-winning book about the Scopes trial. I picked this up at a recent panel discussion at the University of Chicago, which Larson attended, and they were giving out free copies to the first 50 people who came in. I was the third.
Oh, wow.
I already have a copy of the book. I have several copies of the book, but it's not my policy to turn away free books just because I already own them. And I will also throw in a recent copy of Free Inquiry. I got 2 authors' copies because of a book review in it. And this is one of them. This has a lot of articles about the Scopes trial. They didn't ask me, they didn't invite me to contribute anything, but that's okay, I don't mind. The fools, I'll crush them all. Okay. As you can see from your score sheet, we're going to have 2 rounds of 12 questions each. I'll try to give you about 15 seconds to answer each question. And when I rehearsed this, the whole thing went about 22 minutes, so that should work. That gives us time for a tiebreaker round if we need it. If we don't, I can answer questions about the trial for whatever time remains. This, by the way, is John T. Scopes himself in 1925. So for round 1, I'm going to read a multiple choice question out loud. It'll appear on the screen too, so if you prefer to read, you can do that. And give you about 15 seconds to put an X in the box corresponding to what you think is the correct answer, A, B, C, D, or E. And then I'll reveal the correct answer, and you should write a 1 in the score box if you got it right, and a 0 if you did not. And you're all on the honor system, obviously. Okay. What type of offense was teaching evolution in Tennessee's public schools according to the Butler Act? This warms you up with an easy one. A, a civil infraction. B, a felony. C, a felony or a misdemeanor, depending on circumstances. D, a misdemeanor. Or E, none of the above. All right, and the answer is a misdemeanor.
What a surprise.
Any teacher found guilty of the violation of this act shall be guilty of a misdemeanor. Question 2. How long was Scopes imprisoned before the trial? None at all, 1 day,
Deborah Steiner left her card.
7 days,
Oh, that's my mom.
18
She
days,
left her card.
Oh, no, I'll take it. Yeah.
or 31 days.
I'm sorry, what was that?
How long was Scopes imprisoned before the trial? Unlike Bertram Cates and Inherit the Wind, John Scopes didn't spend a moment in jail after his indictment. He went back to play tennis.
How many points do we get for each question?
Just 1 in this round.
I know I'm at 100% now, so we should stop.
Who was the lead prosecutor? A, William Jennings Bryan. B, Clarence Darrow. C, Herbert Hicks. D, Ben McKenzie. Or E, Tom Stewart. answer is E, Tom Stewart.
Oh, no.
The district attorney for what was then the 18th Tennessee District, who was later Democratic senator from the state of Tennessee.
I didn't realize that. Oh, darn it.
Number 4, how long is the court in session? A, 6 days, B, 7 days, C, 8 days, D, 10 days, or E, 40 days.
Could be 40 days and 40 nights, or
The answer is C, 8 days.
Oh.
The Kitzmiller versus Dover trial,
Oh,
80 years
that's where I
later,
got confused.
took 40 days though. And the defense attorney asked the judge, was that intentional? He said, no, it's striking, but it was not by
I
design.
got them confused.
not by design.
Not by design.
Question number 5, what argument did the defense use to try to quash Scope's indictment? A, that the Butler Act infringed on Scope's freedom of speech. B, the Butler Act violated the separation of church and state. C, the Butler Act was confusingly and inconsistently worded. D, the Butler Act violated the legislature's duty to cherish literature and science. Or E, none of the above.
All of the above.
All of the above.
I'm sorry, E, all of the above. And the answer is E, all of the above, everything but the kitchen sink, really.
So does that mean that in the state of Tennessee, the legislature had a written duty to cherish literature and science?
Well, it was in the Constitution, so they ran it up the flagpole, but no one seemed very impressed.
It was in their
The state
constitution?
It's in the Tennessee State Constitution of 1870.
Yeah, I think they've struck that since then.
Okay,
Maybe.
number 7. Oh, sorry, number 6. On what day was the trial conducted al fresco on the courthouse lawn? Day 1, July 10th. B, day 3, July 13th. C, day 5, July 15th. D, day 7, July 20th. Or E, none of the above. And the answer is D, day 7, July 20th. That was the day that Darrow interrogated Brian about the Bible. The judge moved everyone out of the courthouse, claiming that he was worried that the floor was going to break under the weight of the spectators, but it seems clear that he just wanted everyone to get a good view. There were thousands of people on the courthouse lawn. Number 7, which of the following Bible stories did Darrow not ask Brian about? A, Balaam's ass. B, Jonah and the whale. C, Joshua and the sun standing still. D, Noah's flood. Or E, the Tower of Babel. Okay. The answer is A, Balaam's ass. In the book of Numbers, the prophet Balaam beats his donkey, who miraculously speaks to him in order to rebuke him for his cruelty. Number 8, what was the outcome of the case? A, Scopes was acquitted. B, Scopes was convicted but did not appeal. C, Scopes was convicted and his conviction was upheld on appeal. D, Scopes was convicted and his conviction was overturned on appeal. Or E, the jury deadlocked, so Scopes was neither acquitted nor convicted.
Oh, wait, I got this. Wait.
Okay, and the answer is Scopes was convicted and his conviction was overturned on appeal. But that's not the end of the questions about the outcome of Tennessee versus Scopes. Number 9, Scopes was fined for violating the Butler Act. How much was he fined and who decided the amount? A is $50 in the jury. B is $50 in the judge. C is $100 in the jury. D is $100 in the judge. E is none of the above. And the answer is $100 in the judge. The fact that the judge set the fine gave the Tennessee Supreme Court a pretext to overturn the conviction, and it's kind of suspected that the judge and the prosecution colluded to set that up. Number 10.
Do we get half a point if we get the judge right?
Number 10. Who died shortly after the trial? A. William Jennings Bryan. B. Clarence Darrow. C. H.L. Mencken. D. John Randolph Neal Jr. Or E. John Ralston, the judge presiding over the trial. And the answer is William Jennings Bryan. On July 26, 1925, Bryan attended services at a Methodist church in Dayton, ate a hearty lunch, took a nap, and died in his sleep. Number 11. What happened to the Butler Act, under which Scopes was prosecuted? A. It remains on the books today. B. It was found to be unconstitutional by the trial court. C. It was found to be unconstitutional by the Tennessee Supreme Court. D. It was found to be unconstitutional by the U.S. Supreme Court. Or E. It was eventually repealed. And the answer is E. It was eventually repealed in 1967, partly as a result of Inherit the Wind, which came out as a movie in 1960.
Oh,
And number 12. Which state's legislature passed a bill similar to the Butler Act in the years following the Scopes trial? A. Arkansas. B. Florida. C. Louisiana. D. Mississippi. Or E. Nebraska. And the answer is D. Mississippi.
Who else could it be?
If you wanted to say Arkansas, there was a bill there, but it failed in the legislature and was then enacted by initiative.
Oh. Okay. Susan Bryan died because it was mentioned the night before on trivia.
yeah, that must have been it. We have this thing of killing off people we mentioned.
Okay, so take up a second to add up your score for round 1, please.
This is easier round, huh?
The easier round.
Oh, I'm embarrassed.
Me too.
I still working on it.
You can take that, yeah.
I got 4. I know.
These are all very.
I knew them. You know, once you give the answer, you're like, duh. I can't believe
It's like any trivia. If you know it, it's easy. If you don't know it, it's hard.
Like, you can't know everything.
Yeah.
If you're all added up for round 1, take a deep breath, because it's time for round 2. Just the same, but the questions are harder. So a correct answer will earn you twice as many points, but a 2 in the score box if you get the question right.
Oh.
Okay. Dayton is the county seat of Ray County, Tennessee, which is famous for what crop? A. Blueberries. B. Corn. C. Strawberries. D. Tobacco. E. Wheat.
Oh my gosh, I was just there.
We're just there.
I didn't ask this question.
Did you go to the museum?
Yeah, we were there. I was with Glenn.
And the answer is strawberries.
No
The
way!
79th annual Tennessee Strawberry Festival will be held in Dayton, May 4th through 9th,
I had no
2026.
idea. Gee.
Opposing the teaching of evolution was not William Jennings Bryan's only cause. Which of the following is not true? A. He favored bimetallism. B. He opposed eugenics. C. He opposed imperialism. D. He favored a progressive federal income tax. Or E. He favored prohibition.
Not true.
Yeah, which one is not true? And the answer is B,
Yes.
it is not true that he opposed eugenics. He worked with some eugenicists on prohibition. His wife belonged to a eugenics society, and he spoke well of it at least once in his newspaper, The Commoner.
Mhm.
Number 15, or 3 rather. What research did John Washington Butler do before proposing the Butler Act? A, he consulted with biology professors at the University of Tennessee. B, he read Darwin's On the Origin of Species. C, he read Hunter's Acidic Biology. D, he visited the American Museum of Natural History. Or E, none of the above. And the answer is E, none of the above. I didn't know anything about evolution when I introduced it, Butler later admitted.
Wow.
16, I renumbered them. 4, where had the paths of William Jennings Bryan and John T. Scopes crossed before the trial?
Where?
A, Washington, D.C. B, Salem, Illinois. C, Lexington, Kentucky. D, Paducah, Kentucky. Or E, Omaha, Nebraska. And the answer is Salem, Illinois.
I chose that because we're in Illinois.
Oh, man.
Salem was Bryan's hometown, and he was invited to give the high school graduation address there in 1919, the year in which Scopes graduated from Salem High School. Now, by this time, the great orator, Bryan, had developed lisp, and Scopes and some of his senior buddies were kind of giggling and poking fun at him. And in 1925 in Dayton at a dinner, Bryan remembered that. Wow. What was distinctive about the way Americans learned about the trial? A, it was the first U.S. trial to receive national newspaper coverage. B, it was the first U.S. trial to be shown in newsreel footage. C, it was the first U.S. trial to be broadcast live on radio. D, it was the first U.S. trial to be broadcast live on television. Or E, none of the above. And the answer is C. It was the first U.S. trial to be broadcast live on radio by Chicago's WGN, which stood for World's Greatest Newspaper. That was the Chicago Tribune, which owned the station. Unfortunately, they did not have the technology to record, so we do not have any of those broadcasts.
Oh, wow.
During the trial, the litigators were often addressed by the courtesy title Colonel. Who among the following actually served as a colonel? A, William Jennings Bryan. B, Clarence Darrow. C, Arthur Garfield Hayes. D, John Randolph Neal Jr. Or E, Tom Stewart.
Why were they referred to as colonel?
It's like in Kentucky, right?
Kentucky.
Colonel Sanders.
Colonel Sanders is a Kentucky colonel. He did not serve.
It's still
Oh, who actually serves?
Yeah.
You're talking about who really was?
Who was
Too chicken?
Who was really in the military?
and who was a real colonel? And the answer is A, William Jennings Bryan, who was the colonel of the 3rd Nebraska Infantry Regiment during the Spanish-American War. Did not see combat, but he was the colonel. Number 7, Judge Ralston's decision not to quash the indictment of Scopes was leaked to the press before he announced it in court. Angered, he demanded that the press corps investigate the leak. Who was found responsible? A, Arthur Garfield Hayes of the ACLU. B, Joseph Wood Crutch of The Nation. C, H.L. Mencken of the Baltimore Evening Sun. D, Westbrook Pegler of the Chicago Tribune. Or E, Judge Ralston himself. The answer is A.
He just happened to tell somebody on accident.
A reporter had asked Ralston whether he would adjourn the proceedings for the day after announcing his decision. When Ralston answered yes, the reporter reasoned that if the decision was to quash the indictment, then the trial would be over, not adjourned. So the decision must not be to quash the indictment.
Clever.
Which of the following scientists submitted testimony on behalf of the defense? A, physicist and chemist Marie Curie. B, physicist Albert Einstein. C, ichthyologist David Starr Jordan. D, geologist Curtly Mather. Or E, paleontologist Henry Fairfield Osborn.
Wow.
And the answer is B, geologist Curtly Mather. Curie and Einstein both expressed their support for scopes from Europe, and Jordan and Osborn were consulted by the legal team, but Mather was the only scientist among these to submit testimony. Number 9. Which of Judge Ralston's decisions provoked Clarence Darrow to be so sarcastic that the court threatened to find him in contempt? A, the decision not to quash the indictment. B, the decision to continue opening each day's session with a prayer. C, the decision not to allow the testimony of expert witnesses on evolution. D, the decision to allow Brian to testify as an expert on the Bible. Or E, the decision to strike Brian's testimony from the record.
All of these happened?
Those were all decisions that Judge Ralston made, yes. But one of them really pissed Darrow off. And the answer is C, not to allow the testimony of expert witnesses on evolution. Darrow said something sarcastic. The judge said something like, I hope you're not intending any reflection on the court. Darrow said, you have the right to hope. The judge says, I have the right to do something else, perhaps, and was prepared to levy a fine of $5,000 in 1925 money, which is a year's wages.
Why did he not allow expert witnesses on evolution?
Because the prosecution successfully convinced the judge that the only issue here is whether or not Scopes had violated the law by teaching human evolution. So, what would the experts bring to that?
Legal issues.
So the defense, of course, wanted to open the issues up beyond that, but they were unable to. They got the judge to agree to having affidavits submitted by the expert witnesses for the purposes of review on appeal, which unfortunately John Randolph Niels totally screwed up. He missed a deadline, so he wasn't allowed to put those into the record from the appellate court. He did anyhow because Neil didn't care, but the Tennessee Supreme Court ignored it. Okay, just a couple more. About how long did the jury deliberate before returning the verdict? A, 10 minutes, B, 1 hour, C, 2 hours, D, 3 hours, or E, 5 hours. The answer is A, 10 minutes. Most reports say 9 minutes, but which of the following is true about Inherent the Wind, the 1955 play and 1960 film, loosely based on the Scopes trial? A, Scopes attended the US premiere of the play in Dallas, Texas. B, the play broke what was then the record for longest run on Broadway. C, the film was directed by Stanley Kubrick. D, Scopes attended the US premiere of the film in Dayton, Tennessee. Or E, the film was the first to be screened during an airplane flight. And the answer, no, that didn't come out well. And the answer is D. Scopes attended the US premiere of the film in Dayton, Tennessee. They had it at the local drive-in for some reason. I'll just mention the US premiere of the play was in Dallas, Texas, but Scopes didn't go. I have heard Ed Larson say at least twice in the last month that it broke the record for longest run on Broadway, which is nonsense. AB's Irish Rose, for example, ran a lot longer. It was directed by Stanley, but Kramer, not Kubrick.
Oh.
And if you bought the VHS version of Inherit the Wind, it says on the cover, on the sleeve, that it was the first to be screened on an airplane flight, which is also nonsense. Depending on how you define your terms, The Lost World, adapted from the Arthur Conan Doyle, was screened in the 1920s on an airplane. It's true that when TWA started in-flight service, one of the films they tested with was Inherit the Wind. That wasn't the only one. Okay.
That is some arcane knowledge.
Yeah.
I got it right though, just saying. I knew this.
Randy Moore, who's a professor at the University of Minnesota, who's written the only full-length biography of Scopes. I had to argue with him. He made this claim in print a couple of years ago, and I had to argue with him. I said, look, it's not true. Look it up. Finally, there are 2 statues commemorating the Scopes trial in the courthouse lawn in Dayton, Tennessee today. Whom do they depict? A, Brian and his wife Mary Beard Bryan. B, Brian and Darrow. C, Brian and Scopes. D, Darrow and Scopes. Or E, Ralston and Scopes. Susan better get this one.
Yeah, I better.
And the answer is B, Brian and Darrow. Okay, so take a moment to total up your score from round 2 and add it to your score from round 1 to get a grand total. Did anyone, let's see, did anyone get more than 25 points?
Wow.
You're the winner.
Oh.
You did, wow. Good job.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Well done. I want to hear what everybody else's scores were.
11.
16, 20.
13.
22.
11, you guys?
You guys 11?
I got 19.
19?
My guess is when
27.
I happened to read the article about the trial about 6 months ago, so it's
Oh.
better to keep my.
Thank you, Glenn, it was very good. Thanks, Glenn.
That was fun.
Okay, thanks very much.